Most men are not struggling because life is hard. They are struggling because they were never given a code to live by. Not rules, not suggestions, laws. The kind that don't bend when things get difficult. The kind that hold when everything around you is falling apart. If you don't have a code, you don't have control. And if you don't have control, life will move you in any direction it wants. The Stoics understood something most modern men have forgotten. A man without principles is just a man reacting to whatever is loudest around him. These are the 10 laws that change that. Law 1. Own everything that happens to you. Not just your successes, your failures, your embarrassments, the relationships that fell apart, the opportunities you missed, the version of yourself you're not proud of. Own all of it. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control, the understanding that you cannot control what happens, only how you respond. And the man who refuses to own his response to life is a man who will always be at the mercy of it. Stop asking why this happened to you. Start asking what you're going to do with it. Law 2. Never complain, never explain. Complaining is a signal to everyone around you that you believe your circumstances have power over you. Explaining yourself to people who didn't ask is a signal that their opinion of you matters more than your own. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire on earth and wrote his deepest thoughts in a private journal no one was ever meant to read. He didn't perform his discipline. He practiced it. Say less. Do more. Let results be the only explanation you ever give. Law 3. Protect your attention like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your attention is not just a resource, it is the raw material of your entire life. What you give your attention to is what you become. The Stoics understood that a distracted man is a conquered man not by an enemy, but by his own inability to focus. Every morning the world will compete for your mind, your phone, other people's problems, noise disguised as information. The man who wins the day is the man who decides where his attention goes before anyone else gets to decide for him. Law 4. Sit with discomfort until it loses its power over you. The Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort, cold, hunger, silence. Not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they understood that a man who has never learned to sit with difficulty will run from it every time it appears. And difficulty appears constantly. The man who has trained himself to stay to breathe through the hard moment, to not reach immediately for comfort or distraction, that man is free in a way that most men will never experience. Whatever you are avoiding right now is the exact thing you need to face. Law 5. Never make a permanent decision from a temporary emotion. Anger is temporary. Humiliation is temporary. Fear is temporary. Grief is temporary. The decisions you make inside those emotions are not. The Stoics believed in the pause, the deliberate space between what happens to you and how you respond. That pause is where your character lives. The man who has mastered the pause cannot be provoked into destroying what he has built. He cannot be manipulated by someone who simply knows how to trigger him. Feel everything. Act from nothing but clarity. Law 6. Build in silence. The moment you announce what you are building, you invite opinions, doubt, and people who will unconsciously want to see you fail. Not out of malice. Out of their own fear of what your success says about their inaction. Move quietly. Let the work speak. The Stoics had no interest in being seen working, they were interested in the work itself. There is a kind of man who talks about what he is going to become, and there is a kind of man who simply becomes it. Be the second kind. Law 7. Treat every loss as a lesson you paid for. You paid for it with time, with pain, with something you can never get back. The least you can do is extract everything it has to teach you. The Stoics did not believe in wasted suffering. Every setback contained information. Every failure contained a correction. The man who grieves without learning pays twice, once when he loses and once when he makes the same mistake again. Take the lesson. Leave the rest behind. Law 8. Require more from yourself than anyone else does. Not because you are trying to prove something. Because you understand that no one is coming to hold you to a higher standard. Your boss won't. Your friends won't. Most of the people around you are comfortable with average, and they will unconsciously pull you toward it. The Stoic standard is internal. It doesn't move based on what is expected of you. It doesn't lower itself when things get hard. It is the quiet voice that says you know what you are capable of, and this is not it. Hold the standard even when no one is watching. Especially when no one is watching. Law 9. Let go of the version of yourself that no longer serves you. Most men are not held back by their enemies. They are held back by an old identity they are afraid to release. The story of who they are that was written in a time they no longer live in. You are not who you were at your worst. You are not who you were when you were lost. You are not permanently defined by the chapter you are currently trying to close. The Stoics believed in continuous becoming. There is no fixed self, only the self you are actively building or actively neglecting. Let the old version go. He already served his purpose. Law 10. Die with nothing left unlived. This is the law that makes all the others urgent. Seneca wrote that we suffer more from the imagination of death than from death itself. But the real tragedy is not dying. It is arriving at the end of your life with a list of things you were too comfortable, too afraid, or too distracted to do. The Stoics meditated on death not to become morbid, but to become awake. Every day you treat as ordinary is a day you will not get back. Every conversation you postpone, every risk you avoid, every version of yourself you keep promising to become, the clock on all of it is running. Live like the man you intended to be, not someday. Now. These are not 10 things to think about. They are 10 things to live by. The difference between a man who knows Stoicism and a man who practices it is the difference between a man who read about swimming and a man who jumped in the water. You already know what needs to change. The only question left is whether you are going to be the man who does something about it.